Well, I think learning's stupid.
I was gonna say you can change your name to Dallas Lanzanese.
Oh, or Dallas learn Zenese.
That was actually pretty good. But you think learning's dumb. Let's come back to that.
Oh yeah. Why am I in education?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask.
I'm just joking. I'm just having a Josh, you know.
Yeah, you know.
What's the most recent thing you've learned?
We did supervision today and hall director training. I went through that last year already, so I didn't learn anything new. But I did appreciate hearing the information again.
That's great. You still haven't told us what the most recent
Let's
thing
see.
you learned is.
That was
Most recent thing I learned um was it's I don't know if I'll do it right on camera. It's the pose that you're supposed to do to flex in like the for the gym. You like how you do hold up just like I forgot how to do it already. Fuck. It's to like get the hold up, get the like the gains going, and then you like I can't do it. I didn't learn it.
You look like my 16-year-old brother.
Hey, shut up! I'm officially on. You can't say that.
Yeah, all right, all right. So welcome back to the UMR in Summary podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jessie B. She, her Associate Director of Residence Life at Cornell College. And with me, I have my hosts.
Nathan Dozier. I'm over at KA State, KSU. Uh, that's what they do, the Wildcat. Um, Assistant director over here, housing and dining services. He, him. Um, my favorite animals: whales, owls, or deer. Dallas.
Wow.
What's up? I'm Dat Boy. I use he, him, his pronouns. I work at North Dakota State University. My fun fact is I can do like a 3/4 front flip.
But only 3/4.
Yeah, I don't land on my feet.
So if I took out the first quarter, you'd do way better.
Any quarter.
Been a lens.
And with our special guest.
Yeah, who are you?
Oh, yeah. My name is Culver Baden. I use he, him pronouns. Formerly a residence hall director at EW Stevens Point. I'm not sure if you want my current position, but I can say that too.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us what you're
I,
saying.
yeah, currently, I made this transition to orientation and new student programming. So I work at UW-Madison in the SOAR program as an operations specialist here.
Sweet.
For those of you who have been with us since the beginning, you may remember Cole from the first podcast. And maybe the second one, I can't remember now at this
I think
point.
it's three.
Three!
Oh,
Yo, shit! Go back and watch those. We were way more unpolished.
Which is bananas, honestly. But I do want to say this is exactly like when Michael Scott left and then came back, and everyone's like, "Oh, The Office is good again."
True.
I was gonna say we've been nothing without you. Jessie has supplemented, and we've been dragging her down.
Yeah, that's so facts.
I have tried, but no one can replace you.
That's okay. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just
No, it's good. Good.
flabbergasted.
Cole,
Yeah.
have you seen? There's so many things. There's so many things that have changed in our lives. I'm not even at Fort Hayes anymore, Cole.
I heard that. I was like, whoa, wait. I was
I
like,
know. I thought I was gonna be there forever.
And he's not.
Famous last words.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
What do you guys do? I missed it. Is it this?
Yeah, it's a W and then a C. It's like
Um,
303. If you do the 303 and then get rid of one, that's that.
okay, great. It keeps cutting off my fingers. Um,
I got it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
yeah.
We also say EMA, which is every man's a wildcat. And I'm like,
So just the men?
yeah, that's why I said. That's the first thing I said. And they said it's tradition.
Oh,
Nah.
I
Nah.
love doing things because it's tradition. I say sarcastically.
Um,
Yo, sick, you drippy with it. I see the watch. No, don't hide that.
Oh, whoa, whoa! Is that a watch?
Oh,
Hey,
me? Oh,
hey,
sorry. I was just
hey.
picking something on my arm. Yes, it's not a very fancy watch.
Nah, you
it looks
drip with
nice
it.
though.
It looks
Yeah,
like a nice watch.
yeah.
So Cole, before we actually get into our topic, can you tell us a fun fact about yourself so that the listeners can like relearn who you are?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like everyone knows my fun fact all the time. But from my UW Stevens Point friends, they'll know that I changed my major 7 times in undergrad.
Oh.
Um, a more exciting fact I would say is I recently broke my leg last summer from
Oh
pickleball.
shit.
So,
Nice.
um, I
How
still
good.
love pickleball though. So,
Well,
You
that's good.
you did not break your leg playing pickleball.
okay, I just like increased my activity like way too fast.
Yeah.
But I was playing pickleball when I was like, my leg hurts right now. I slowly broke my leg last summer.
So
So
like
it was,
how? Like not how, like what part of the like what did you break in the leg?
yeah, I broke my tibia. So the
Oh,
lower third of it broke down there. Yeah.
nice.
How is it
So
now? Has it healed?
it's great. There's a rod in it now from about like just below my knee to above my ankle. So call
Nice.
me Iron Man, I guess.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Half
yeah.
almost there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That thing's keeping his heart pumping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
for real.
Yeah. Next step to becoming truly Iron Man is becoming a billionaire.
I
Good
don't
luck.
know if I'll be able to do that in higher ed. So
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Well,
talk about it.
no, but I do want to say for the record, Iron Man's a billionaire.
That's what I said.
I thought you said million. I'm like, I don't think he can do those things with millions of dollars.
No, million of dollar. But yeah, I said billion. If it didn't come out as B, it's because I don't enunciate well. But
My apologies.
no, no,
Well,
no, it's okay.
I'm so happy to have the Iron Man of higher ed here,
Yes.
Culver Baton himself. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy billionaire schedule.
of course, happy to do so.
We do appreciate having you here. And our topic today is assessment, which I've been told you're really excited about in general, Cole.
Yes, I love assessment. I think assessing as much as well, not always as much as we can, but when we use assessment correctly, we can do a lot of great things.
Sweet. So, where do you use assessment in your position?
In my current position, I oversee our assessment of the program. So we have about a pretty large survey that we send out to our students after they complete our, we call it SOAR or orientation. So that goes out to every student. At UW-Madison, we have about 8,600 new students. So there's about 1,000 response rates right now, which is the largest survey I've ever administered. And that's just one of them. So I oversee about 5 different surveys that assess different things regarding different student types, learning outcomes that we wanted them to hit, things like that. But priorly, in my position as a hall director, I use assessment to implement change, see where our students were at with just general learning, and especially our student staff too, of where they're at with their learning outcomes and where we want them to be with their positions.
Sweet. What about Nathan and Dallas? Where do you use assessment?
I think mostly when I use assessment is after some sort of large thing.
Mhm.
So whether it be move in, move out, programs, things like that, that's typically when I use assessment. Like, I guess technically you can say like evaluations too are a form of
Yeah.
assessment.
Mhm.
But most of the time when we're thinking about more the generic, like what went well, what can we work on, things like that, that's more of what I think of when I think assessment and like actually looking at the exact numbers. And if this is a yearly program, then we can look at comparison of numbers. How did we do our communication differently? Did we do anything different when it came to how we brought people in? Were people happy at the program and things like that? Um, but yeah, I think it's mostly a lot of just echoing what Cole is saying, as just a lot of just looking at the metrics of what we've done and seeing if there are places we could have made improvements, if there's not places we could have made improvements, which if there's not a place you can make an improvement, not gonna lie, you didn't assess enough. That's what happened. But Just
usually?
things like that. I guess in my job right now, especially like we're gearing up for a large program, and immediately after that, we're going to look at start to finish how it happened,
Mhm.
what different aspects of it could be divvied out better to people, so then not only one person is taking care of everything.
I have strong thoughts and feelings about the follow-up after assessment as well as the implementation of. We're not there yet. But I will give, I guess, yes, where do I use assessment in my position? We fucking everywhere. Holy shit. So much. Is it all needed? That's for another day. But no, every like literally like for just to like give an example of what I mean by everything, because obviously everything means everything. But like our upcoming RA training, we have assessment now intertwined for that specific session. After every single session, there's going to be some sort of, whether it's like a 3-2-1, a exit ticket, a just a regular like Google form question answer thing, whatever it may be. But we have assessment at the end of every single session during RA training this upcoming year, which we in the past did it at the end of RA training as a whole, is when we would start getting assessment from staff members. But now we're doing it at will, and I will say part of it is because I pitched for it. But like we're doing it at the end of each. Hey, I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying we do it everywhere. All of the like curriculum based things that RAs do on the facilitation guides, there is some sort of assessment that they need to be getting from their residents to then summarize and give to their hall director so we can give to our assistant director for residential experience or whatever her title is. I'm so sorry, Madison. I'm on her committee, don't know her title. But but yeah, everywhere. Everywhere and then some. I yield my time.
So, okay, follow-up question, because now two of you have mentioned it. How do you know, like, why is assessment important? We're all excited about it, but then how do you know when too much is too much?
Cole knows.
Why it's important? I mean, it's always good, I think, to understand where our students are at, no matter what. Um, the question of what is too much is it would depend on every person. Everyone will have a different feeling about it. I do think if I don't know, this is a tangent, but I do think we overutilize surveys in student affairs way too much.
Yes.
In general. And that's one goal I have when I do assessment is to do a variety of assessments, because there can be survey fatigue, all that kind of stuff. But overall, why do we do it? Why is it important? Ultimately, it's like to know that we're doing our jobs well and that we're serving students at the best we could, I think. I also think it's fun to see I do like a lot of open answer questions where they can do comments. That's my favorite part. I actually check our surveys every day to see what kind of like things they're leaving behind of like, what did you enjoy? What did you not enjoy? Things like that, I think is super interesting to see. And also like just continuous improvement. Like Dallas, you were saying you're doing it after every session. I actually did that at Point too. As our student training chair, I implemented that we did it after every session and we had learning outcomes with that. But I think it's just to get a good sense of like, are we doing things that are students getting what we want to get out of, or are they getting what we want them to get out of
Yep.
what we're doing? Like, are we hitting our marks or not? Essentially like that. Like we should keep getting paid, essentially.
Good.
Yeah, I think I mean the basis of all of our jobs is to serve the student populations that decide to go to the institutions that we work at. And you don't know if you're truly serving them in the way that they need to be served, or I guess the way you want to serve them, unless you are assessing in some way. Now, I will say, yes, survey fatigue. Oh my God, I like if professionals are trained on how to assess properly, you could do observational assessment. You don't need to do something. I don't want to get into that right now. But no, yeah, assessment. I do think it's very important as long as it's used, as long as the data that you're getting
Hmm.
is used and you're getting your data from correct data sets. Like if you are trying to support maybe a minoritized group on campus, maybe get assessment and data from those students and not just extrapolate from the majority. Thoughts on that? Just kidding. You don't have to right now. But nope, never mind. Nathan?
Well, I was also gonna say I'm gonna touch a little bit more on when you say if the best type of assessment that's actually used. Um, I think it's probably the easiest point to start poking holes into like what you think of an institution, organization, etc. when you can tell they didn't use the assessment that they
Yeah.
just made you fill out.
Yes.
I've seen so many times where we, and for the record, I'm 100% a proponent. I'm advocating, I will be a cheerleader for assessment after every day or even after every session. I'm fine with either. But doing it all at the end, Dallas, you obviously know that this is the problem. I think we all know this is the problem, is that people don't remember what they're assessing at that point.
Right.
They'll say everything's good. They'll say everything's good except for this one presentation that I really didn't like. And now that presentation is the worst thing I've seen in my life because it's the only thing I remember.
Yep.
Everything else, I'm fine with all of the BCDs that happen. I don't care. But too many times we'll do assessment and then we'll just leave it. And the problem is
Hmm.
people know that they gave you feedback. And then when they see the same thing the next year, they're like, oh, I guess everyone else loved that the speaker read off of the slides word for word. That's crazy.
Yep.
So,
Good. So timing of assessment is important. Assessment that is actually used is the best kind of assessment. If you're not going to use it, don't do it. These are great. Um, so now we've alluded a couple times to assessment strategies. We all agree surveys are used too much. What would you suggest instead?
Something I'm going to be doing in my current position, I'm actually meeting with our director of assessment in our larger division, is focus groups. I want to chat with her about how we can get some students in there and get them, and specifically have focus groups led by students. I think there's some kind of barrier then when students go in and they see a professional staff member of like,
Yep.
maybe I can't like say this or I shouldn't say this, right? Like I don't want them to think badly of me. So I'm going to, there are some student staff that I have that want to get research experience, want to get kind of that experience in assessment. So I'm going to let them lead focus groups. So then hopefully those students like give back like the most like wildest like feedback that we can get, and then have them recorded, and I can go back and look through them, listen to what they're saying. I will say surveys can be nice.
Mhm.
I'm a proponent for Qualtrics. My UWSP people will know that I live and breathe Qualtrics. I'm a little nerd with that because now you can like correlate two variables in there and do a bunch of stat stuff. If there's a predictor of like if this student has this identity, are they more likely to feel this sense of belonging in this area? Or like you can do a lot of cool things with it. But like I said, it's another survey thing. And I think something I want to mention too is thinking about like formal versus informal feedback or assessment. What is important? Like, is it just as important? I think it's just as important to get stories from students that just come up to you of like, hey, like I had this really bad experience here, or I had this really great experience here, right? I think a lot of times we discount informal like assessment or like ways of gathering it, and it's always survey, but like Dallas said, like observation can be just as important of like seeing how students are doing things, where they're going. um but I think if we really, especially after COVID, focus groups could be nice and get students back
Mhm.
in the community with each
Yes.
other. That's one thing. I mean, who doesn't love going in a group and being like, oh my God, yes, I so agree with that, right? There's nothing I love more than I'm like, ah, yes, I'm not alone.
Yeah, that's such a good answer. Dallas, Nathan, any thoughts?
Oh yeah, I got him. But if Nathan has some too, I'd love to hear first from Nathan.
It's all you.
Okay. So yeah, surveys can be good. I think surveys are really good in large scale. So as Cole was speaking earlier, big survey, biggest survey he's ever administered. That makes sense. Large scale, lots of numbers. You want, yeah. I love open-ended questions. I love being able to provide a space for someone that you are trying to get data from to provide raw information and emotion rather than guiding them through a Likert scale or a yes, no, or a kind of likely, not sort of likely. And I understand the back end of how those parts can also be effective. I get that. But at
Right.
the end of the day, as long as the professional or professionals who are reviewing the data, get the raw data, know how to then properly theme an open-ended question, though it takes a little bit longer to review,
Right.
fantastic for actually getting
Mm-hmm.
the progress and the we want to get to where the students need us to be way faster than just saying on a scale of 1 to 5, how'd you feel about that? Okay, what does that tell me? Wow, they feel 4. Cool. um I also I love the idea of focus groups, and however that is logistically implemented, I'm not sure because I'm not diving into that world. I wish you the best of luck when you start having those conversations to implement those things because awesome. Because I truly think that if you want again to serve the student body that you are working for, you need to get to their level and have these conversations and use the words that they're saying to guide the initiatives that you're going to do for future student bodies. And I understand each year is different and each year's students' needs could adjust depending on what society is happening, what's happening in society, I should say. But you, if you just talk to the students, man, and get their point of view, again, there should be some sort of themation of what is being said rather than just using raw data to lead initiatives. There needs to be some sort of middle because that's when we went to school for this or that we have the education to do this, whatever it may be, there is a little bit of need to theme it, but just you need to get the data from the folks you're trying to support. I yield. I did a perspectives article about this.
Oh yeah. Good perspective,
You did do that.
listeners.
Yeah.
I want to give a anecdote. That's the one. That's fine. The
There you
one.
go.
So hypothetically, let's say that the first time I've actually ever decided to play Minecraft seriously and make a server last week with my friends Ricardo, Liz, and my wife Jackie.
Shout out.
If that's what I did last week, and me and my friend Ricardo decided to make a Minecraft HOA, and then we made books so we could get feedback on how well the HOA was doing. The feedback we would have gotten in that scenario,
Hypothetically.
based on just how well do you think the HOA is doing, 1 to 5, and those ones may have been received less well. Or how many big booms would you give the HOA between 5 and 10? However, after giving that survey, we immediately got verbal feedback, which was far more helpful to what the other 2 members of the server wanted.
Hypothetically.
Even though even though we had a daily fee of 1 diamond, maybe what we learned from it was that maybe we could just ask people what they want instead of having to have this barrier of this form to then give someone to then have them fill it out. And also, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say what I hate the most about feedback or really assessment in general. I hate when the person who's giving the information has to do work. That's why I like stud or oh my gosh, what's the word I'm trying to think of? The group. You said the word earlier and
Focus
then you
groups.
forgot it. What?
Focus groups.
Focus group. I don't know how we both forgot that word today. But yeah, but the whole point of the focus group is so the focus group doesn't really have to work. They just get to talk. And that's awesome. And if there was a survey that just asked me verbally questions and I answered them, take this idea, Google. I'll do it every time. I will give you a verbal survey unless you call me, because then I'm not
Mm.
going to answer.
No, 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 no.
No,
Yeah.
you have to have it as an app that says these are the questions you can verbally answer, and then we'll translate it. That'd be
Perfect.
sick. But I was gonna say anything to make it so the person giving information doesn't have to work harder to then give you that information removes a barrier.
I was gonna add one thing, kind of with that Nathan was like, and I think something we did at Point, me and my coworker Taylor, we were wanted to see if we could change our front desk hours or when students were utilizing it, right? So some people might think, okay, let's send out a survey to our residents and see and ask them when they use it most, right? I think it's important to get creative with that so that you want to assess this population that you still want to assess, but in a way, can you get that information in a different way that we're not causing them to do more work, like you're saying? So with that, like we had our front desk receptionist when our desks were open of counting like every time someone came to desk, that there was a survey they had to fill out, or every hour, right? They put like 10 people came for packages, 10 people came for mail, right? So then we knew without like asking them like,
Yeah.
hey, when do you come for this, right? They were just going about their days. They had no idea, which maybe we should have got like informed consent now that I think about it. Regardless, there was nothing we were really doing
You're
with
observing
it.
your lobby.
Right, exactly. So I think thinking outside of the box of like how can we get this
Yeah.
information that like makes it so much easier for them or with like the stuff we already have, because like with that then we could propose like let's change desk hours, and then the students, the residents are like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad desk is open right now, or I'm glad that it's not open as much, and now we're saving money, and now our finance person in our department loves us even more. Like it's a win-win for everyone. So I think that was just something you were talking about. I was like, oh my gosh, we did this. And it didn't cause any more stress for anyone else.
I
Yeah.
do want to say, in that specific scenario, I'm not sure if informed consent, one, I'm not sure if it's necessary, but two, me as a freshman, if I got an email saying, hey, just so you know, we're doing survey to see when people show up at the desk, me and my homies, 3 a.m. every night would be at the desk.
Oh my word.
Absolutely, we would.
Yeah, true.
Just to skew it. So you'd have to, okay, we close at 12 and we open at 3, of course.
No, that's so awesome to hear that though, because 2 years ago during closing, I asked my RAs to tally during their shifts how many people came because I didn't know exactly how open I wanted my desk during closing because I wasn't sure when the popular hours were going to be. And rather than just like asking or trying to get like 300 plus residents to tell me when they're going to check out, I just told my RAs that they're like to tally up. And so then this past year, I adjusted our closing hours, our
Yeah.
desk hours for closing based off of that tally. And wow, less hours at desk for RA make them happier. And guess what? All students still checked out.
Shocking.
Oh,
Hey, that's a win, actually. I'm writing
Yeah.
that down so I can do it this year.
I would say,
Yeah.
honestly, it really is.
Hell yeah. Look at us.
All right, so implementation. We have danced around the topic. What does it look like in each of your roles?
Do you want it in my role as the vice president of my Minecraft HOA or in my job?
Yes.
The first one.
First one. Okay, so as vice president, I was given the survey just to kind of distribute. Honestly, tracking down the people is the hardest part because they were in two different parts of the map. As an assistant director, I'm a big Qualtrics guy now. I've never used Qualtrics up until now, and then someone's like, just use Qualtrics for that. I'm like, can you define that? And they showed me, and they gave me the know-how of how to do it. It's been crazy. I don't know anything about it, and I'm having a great time with Qualtrics. So, answer is Qualtrics. Email survey type things. I know it's surveys, and we just said don't do so much surveys, but it has more open-ended questions and way more variability than you think it does.
Um, okay, so that's a method of assessment, but what do you do with the
Oh,
information
oh,
after?
what do I do with the? Oh, I'm so sorry. I am
Okay, it's
misunderstood.
okay.
What do I do with the information? The HOA lowered our rate, so we decided to make the diamond conversion rate change. So then, if you have one diamond, it's the same as like 8 silver or 4 gold. I
I
thought
can't
that
believe
was
you
a
made.
little
I
fair.
can't believe you made currency basically in Minecraft for this.
Well, I mean, how else does the HOA continue to run?
I say I can't believe it, but I did and I did the same shit when I had a server with like 8 friends. I even changed my skin to like a police officer, and I was policing like the town like and doing shit like that. So,
That's
oh,
fair. I don't know. I think I have a default skin. But going back to what do I do in my job? I guess for right now I've done nothing because I have no way to implement anything that we've done assessment over. But moving forward, after we have some of our larger things go on, we're probably just going to have some meetings to like talk about how things went. And if I'm hoping we do some sort of like exit survey for the people who participated in our leadership summit so then we can kind of review what went well, what didn't. I've also been taking a lot of notes as I go, which is my favorite form of assessment, which is me just noting everything that's going on and then talking about it later. But it's like hey, these are the things that all happened. And now we need to decide if these were the correct way we want to do it or if we want to change how we go about things in the future.
Great. Thank you. That was what I was getting at.
Thank you. I yield my time.
Dallas.
or Cole.
Doesn't
Jesse's
matter.
Jesse's frozen.
Oh,
Jesse's back. No, Cole, you
okay.
got it. You got this.
Okay. Implementation. Where to begin? Gosh. In my experience, it really depends on who you're working with. I think it's important to take into account who you need to communicate the information with. And like, how do you communicate it in a way that they understand it so that you can implement it? Um, for example, there might be like sometimes in my I'm not gonna say that. I think it's important, hypothetically, to speak about like you might have people in roles who have been in their roles for quite some time. And it's important to think about, okay, what is their likeliness to change, right? Like change assessment is essentially change management too, right? You'll be making little things. And my biggest thing is like, how are these people going to think about that change? And how
Mhm.
can I bring it up in a way that's not so scary? Like I I'm as much as I say I love change, I low-key don't sometimes. Like they'll change like where a road is, and I'm like, oh my God, stop. But in my job, I'm like, change, change, change everything, right? So it's thinking about a way of like proposing it of like my favorite thing is to do for students, right? Of like we're doing this for the students. How can we better our like make our lives easier? I think that's always something to think about. But overall, it's like, what messaging are you getting out of it, or what do you want them to take away? Um, for example, when I did that one desk proposal, we also did one for our break duty too. We had our RAs complete surveys every time they did rounds, and we presented that to our director and our finance person. And so, right, we're gonna propose that to them as like cost saving, right? Whereas, like, if I'm proposing these changes, I'm showing the RAs these changes of like, hey, you're doing 4 rounds or you're doing rounds in 4 buildings now. It's going to be a little different, right? I'm not going to be like, we're doing this because we're saving money, right? It's like, well, you're getting this and this out of it now, or too. Like, you're getting more money or yada, yada. I had something else about implementation. Change. I don't remember exactly. Um, It can be hard overall. I think implementation can be hard. It's like arguably the hardest part of assessment is like,
Oh,
okay, now I want to implement this and deciding sometimes is it worth it?
right.
Um, oh, I remember what I was gonna say. One thing with implementation and kind of going before implementation, when you're looking at your data, I think it's very easy for some of us to like see like the negative comments
Yes.
open-ended and be like, oh my gosh, we need to change because of this. When in reality, I think it's important to take a step back and be like, wait, that's like one comment out of, or like there's like a theme of like general not enjoyment of this one presenter, right? Okay, great. That was only 10 responses out of our over 1,000 respondents, right? So why would we only change for what is that, like 1%? I don't know. I was comm major, so can't do math. I think it's 1%. It's like, why would we change for that? I think that's important too to keep in mind with implementation is like, okay, we got a lot of feedback on this, but it's just like these people are making their voices heard when the rest of the people are like, yeah, we were fine with it. Like, well, you don't need to change it. So I think that's something I'm always keeping in my mind is like, is this just a really loud minority voice?
Sure.
Or is this actually something we need to change?
Right.
I think it goes without being said, but I'm going to say it anyway, that implementation of assessment is done through action and not just words.
Right.
If you want similar thoughts of what I'm about to say in word in a magazine article format, check out the latest perspectives. I talked about this. But you you a lot of times you put an assessment question or assessment questions or whatever it may be somewhere in the ether to be responded to, and then you get this data and that's it. And like, okay, cool. Well, then what was the point
Mhm.
of saying, "Hey, take 15 minutes out of your busy day to give me information on things that I want information on that I'll never use." But you don't say that last part. You say, "Do this assessment because gift card or something," you
Facts.
know? But like if it's not ever used, then it's what's the point? So take the action and actually implement the data and changes that you receive or the changes from you see what I'm saying. For example, I'll give an example. I love examples and I love hypotheticals. I love podcasts. Thanks for listening to the UMR in Summary podcast. But no, we got a lot, we being NDSU, got a lot of data from assessment that we collected after RA training last year. And previous years, but it all culminated last year because we had a good chunk of returners who have been returners and returners, you know? And so they were speaking on the for lack of a better phrasing, I'm sick of how you guys do our training type theme. Okay. And so the committee that we have in our department that works on things such as RA training took all this data and we have reimagined RA training for this year. Um, One of the things that we reimagined, we got assessment feedback data that there was a lot of days that it was literally like 7 hours of lectures. Why would you put us through this, dude? And we said, we hear you. And so now there on any given day of RA training this upcoming year, there is no day that has more than 2 hours of lectures.
Yes.
We have other activities and other forms of education that we will be presenting information in, but we do not go over 2 hours of you are in an auditorium hearing a speaker speak at you. And yes, there's always time that needs to happen because there's just things that you need to talk about. But like, so we heard that data from the assessment that we provided and collected. One other thing is a lot of RAs talked about they really like the in-hall time. So being
Oh,
able
sure.
to individually work with their staffs on learning the topics they need to learn for the RA position. And so we altered, and there's going to be a lot more led by your hall director training during RA training where we might have like some group stuff in common spaces, but we will then disperse to our halls and talk about the same stuff but with our staffs rather than as a collective. So just actually doing the things like taking action and hearing what the students need slash want, and then not being an old fart and saying, well, we've done it. This is tradition. We've always done it like this. Nah, dude. Who cares how you learned? Let them learn how they need it. Damn it. I yield my time.
Can I add something?
Yes.
I was just thinking, two other things I was thinking about. One, when thinking about kind of design, especially with surveys, thinking about like learning outcomes and making strong like learning outcomes. So using like Bloom's taxonomy is what I always used, is something I'm a big fan of. Plus like and like talking about like returning RAs and new RAs. When we went through that, I had my committee, like the new RAs had a lower Bloom's taxonomy where the returners were higher, right? I think there's things we can use in even like K-12 education
Right.
that we can use in higher ed, which I was in an ed major and I was like, what? There's these verbs I can use. That's awesome. Oh, that's crazy. And then one other thing I was thinking about too is historical data too. I think it's important. One thing I've been learning is the importance of asking the same question every year, keeping some questions that you keep every year over a year. Maybe it's for like 5 years, you keep the same question. Like it's important to keep those just to see how you're doing longitudinally
Yeah.
or year over year. Big words.
It was a good one.
Yeah. Well, I just graduated my master's, so I gotta use it.
Wow.
Anyways, but that's something I was I don't want to, what is the word I'm looking for? I was not aware of was like the importance of keeping historical questions in there. But knowing that there is a time too to kind of get rid of them of like, okay, we've assessed this question for 5 years of like sense of belonging. We know that students feel sense of belonging. How can we reword this question? Like, for example, my program was always asking like, please rate on a Likert scale your sense of belonging after SOAR at UW-Madison, right? We've had 5 years of data that says they feel a sense of belonging. So I took that and I said, let's reimagine this question of like where at SOAR during what part of the program do they feel like they finally have a sense of belonging or the most sense of belonging?
Yeah.
Then that tells us how we can improve in the other sessions to improve our sense of belonging. And in a way, it does say like we do have like 100% sense of belonging, right? It forces the people to
Yeah.
think about like where do I feel like how I like do I feel like I belong? And you can always add a point of like I don't feel a sense of belonging. You can still get that.
Sure. Yeah.
99% of students feel like they have a sense of belonging, but it helps you too of like okay, but where now too? We can take it a step farther, which chef's kiss.
Totally. Well, that's great. Any other, that's all my questions. Any other thoughts on assessment and implementation?
Dude, so always so many thoughts, dude. But I just yeah, I think yeah, I agree with Cole. There are some uh yeah, questions or data points that should remain consistent. Maybe like a little bit of rewording to stay with the times kind of thing, but like otherwise the theme of it staying consistent to see the growth from, especially if you're like tracking like a freshman to a senior, like how
Right.
they've
Yes.
grown through their experience on campus through their time. Um but yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I said it once, I'll say it again. Like, we just need to talk to the students more.
Mm.
Like, and I feel like that's getting lost, or that has been lost for those people who have been in the same positions doing the same things for, it could even start at the 5 year mark. And that's me. I'm the 5 year mark right now. And
Mhm.
so like it, it's just you can't rely on the, oh, this is how it's always been, so this is how it's always going to be, or this is how it always should be because it's always worked, because it hasn't always worked. The only reason it's always worked is because that's the theme you're pulling out of your data, is, oh, it's working.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it is. That means you're choosing to say it is because there's a high enough mark of, oh, it is working. That could still only be 60%. That's more than half. But that's not, when you look at the grade scale, that's a D. Nathan in the back.
My hot take is if you think things are working, then set up your assessment like a Yelp review.
No, for real. Because again, like if it's all working and it's all fine, it's not. You didn't do it right. I don't know. I don't know how to word that well, but you know what I mean. If there's no
Yeah,
data to be collected, then you did something wrong. If there's no way to improve, then there is something you're doing something wrong. Because there's always a way to get better because every year is different. And what you did last year is not going to work this year entirely. Parts of it will, not everything will.
agreed. So in summary,
Yeah, yeah.
do assessment. Do assessment and actually put it into practice.
Yeah. I love Jesse's in summary sentences because it's things like, and in summary, we talked about assessment.
It's true.
No,
I
that is
feel like
true.
that's the bottom line of this podcast. Like you have to assess, you have to check with the populations that you actually care about, not random other ones that aren't important. If you're not gonna use it, don't do it. And if you are gonna do it, use it. Is that better?
Yeah, in summary, Nike, just do it.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to avoid saying that, but you said it anyways.
Well, they did sponsor us this episode, so we do actually have to say.
Okay, all right. Just do
Shout,
it.
shout out to Nike for sponsoring this segment of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes, thank you, Nike. Today I'm wearing my Nike loafers.
Heck yeah.
Nice. Today I'm wearing the Nike Elite like sevens or something. It's
Guys,
really really old.
you didn't tell me about the sponsor, so I didn't wear Nikes. I'm sorry.
What the hell?
What'd you wear?
Something else. I think it's Old Navy.
Cole, did you wear your Nikes?
I have Nike Dunks on.
Yeah!
Hey.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And on that note, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe this video. Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe if you're new here.
There you go.
Hit that notification bell for notifications every once in a while.
And
Uh,
Comment for our
Cole.
data.
Thank you, Cole, for being on the podcast. We
Yeah.
appreciate you and your insights.
And comment down below your favorite thing about Cole.
Yeah, we need that data. We need
Yep.
it.
Yeah. Yeah,
For
comment down
my
below. Yeah,
self-improvement.
exactly. Comment down below if you want Cole to become a returning host again like he was way back when.
Yeah. Comment.
Let us know. But on that note,